Howdy, y'all. My name is Emilio, and I'm going to be responding to Mackenzie's post on debate topic 4 regarding United States military involvement in the Middle East. Now, Mackenzie takes a stance that the United States should remain involved in the Middle East, militarily speaking, and in a similar nature to which it should be today. And while she does put forward some valid points as to potential benefits for continued United States military involvement, I think there are some faults in her general arguments regarding its prevention of terrorism as well as its use as a deterrent for Iran. Now, firstly, most terrorism that occurs within the United States, granted, is a tragedy, could not be prevented by long-term military engagement that we are using currently in order to combat terrorism. The terrorist attacks that generally go abroad that affect American and other Western citizens that is so widely covered in the news and seen as a great tragedy can't be stopped by conflict in the Middle East, because generally speaking, maybe one or two of those individuals actually participating in the attack train there, but most of what goes on domestically. So in order to prevent terrorist organizations that operate based off lone wolf attacks or a cell structure, you need to be taking the issue domestically. So this is more so a job for Homeland Security and the NSA and the FBI than it ever would be for the United States military all the way half across the world in the Middle East. So I don't believe that using military involvement in the way we have it now for occupation is an effective way to fight groups such as Al-Qaeda. Now, ISIS is a little bit more unique due to the fact that it is a territory holding organization, or at least it was. And granted, United States military involvement was somewhat successful in reducing the land capacity the land that they were able to hold, and therefore the capacity at which they could operate. But the issue here is that the only way for us to effectively then maintain the success we're having is prolonged engagement, which is extremely costly and, generally speaking, not very popular as a policy option. Now, what I believe the United States should be engaging in, and they began to before failing, what would be using the support of our allies there. So more specifically, if you look at the way in which the Kurds were operating prior to our lack of support for them within the past year, they were very effective when it came to maintaining supremacy over ISIS in the general area and combating them specifically when it came to territorial claims. Now, with our drop of support from them, Turkey has gone ahead and steamrolled the Kurds, which has allowed ISIS to kind of open shop back up a little bit. So clearly the United States needs to have some form of involvement, although it does not need to be military. Now, when you look at Iran and their conflict with Iraq currently in terms of the oil supply and whatnot, our presence there isn't really that big of a deterrent. And the reason being is quite simple. We can reach Iran from anywhere, and they are very well aware of that. So our having troops in the area is not that significant of a deterrent. The only thing it would possibly deter them from would be engaging direct combat somewhere near our troops. Now, generally speaking, that's not the strongest deterrent, seeing as we have the ability to reach them from all the way back home with the push of a button, as we showed with Soleimani. And while I don't agree with that specific assassination due to instability and rising tensions that are caused by it, I do believe that that is a very effective show, the fact that we can still act as a deterrent without being physically present. So while there are some significant benefits to United States involvement in the region, I just generally do not think it's necessary, and that there are more effective tactics that can be taken in order to achieve the same goals without having to spend that much money and put that many lives at risk.